Welcome to History with Herodotus, where we delve into the depths of human experience and explore the intricacies of our collective past. Today, we embark on a fascinating journey through the annals of Japanese history as we examine the transformative events of the Meiji Restoration. This pivotal moment in time marked a profound shift in the trajectory of Japan's development as the nation transitioned from a feudal society to a modern, industrialized state. In the mid-19th century, Japan was a country shrouded in mystery, its borders closed to the outside world for over 2 centuries. The Tokugawa shogunate, a powerful military dictatorship, had ruled with an iron fist since 1603, maintaining a rigid social hierarchy and isolating the nation from foreign influence. The early 19th century saw a growing sense of discontent among the Japanese population as the Tokugawa regime struggled to maintain its grip on power. The economy was stagnant, and the once mighty samurai class had become increasingly disillusioned with their role in society. One figure who would play a significant part in shaping Japan's future was Emperor Komei, who ascended to the throne in 1846. Though still a minor at the time of his accession, Komei would eventually become a key player in the events leading up to the Meiji Restoration. His reign marked a period of growing tension between the imperial court and the Tokugawa shogunate, as the emperor began to assert his authority and challenge the shogun's dominance. Meanwhile, in the southern province of Chūshū, a group of radical samurai had begun to secretly plot against the Tokugawa regime. Led by charismatic figures such as Yoshida Shoin and Ito Hirobumi, these rebels were determined to overthrow the shogunate and restore imperial rule. Their vision for Japan's future was one of modernization and reform, inspired by the Western ideals that had begun to filter into the country through trade and diplomacy. As the 1850s drew to a close, Japan was faced with an unprecedented challenge: the arrival of American Commodore Matthew Perry and his black ships in 1853. The forced opening of Japanese ports to foreign trade and commerce sent shockwaves throughout the nation, as the Tokugawa regime struggled to respond to this sudden and unwelcome intrusion. The Treaty of Kanagawa, signed in 1854, marked the beginning of a new era in Japan's relations with the outside world, but it also created deep divisions within the country. The late 1850s and early 1860s saw a surge in anti-foreigner sentiment, as many Japanese began to resent the influx of Western influence and the perceived weakness of the Tokugawa regime. The assassination of Ieyasu Naosuke, the Tokugawa regent, in 1860 marked a turning point in this period of turmoil as the shogunate's grip on power began to slip further. In the city of Kyoto, the imperial court was abuzz with intrigue as Emperor Komei navigated the treacherous waters of court politics. The emperor's own son, the young Prince Mutsuhito, was being groomed to succeed him, and the court was filled with speculation about the future of the monarchy. Meanwhile, in the provinces, the radical samurai of Chosha and Satsuma were secretly building alliances and gathering support for their rebellion against the Tokugawa regime. As the young Prince Mutsuhito's influence grew, so did the tensions between the imperial court and the Tokugawa shogunate. In 1866, Emperor Komei passed away, and Prince Mutsuhito ascended to the throne at just 15 years old, taking the name Meiji. The new emperor's reign marked a significant turning point in Japanese history, as he would eventually become the symbol of a modernized Japan. The following year, 1867, was a pivotal one for Japan. In November, Tokugawa Yoshinobu, the last shogun, resigned and handed power back to the imperial court, marking the end of the Tokugawa regime's over 250-year rule. This event sparked a chain reaction of events that would ultimately lead to the Meiji Restoration. The young Emperor Meiji, now free from the shackles of Tokugawa dominance, began to assert his authority and implement a series of reforms aimed at modernizing Japan. One of the most significant events of this period took place on January 3, 1868, when the Meiji Emperor issued the Oath in 5 Articles, a document that outlined the principles of the new government. The oath called for the establishment of deliberative assemblies, the abolition of feudalism, and the promotion of education and knowledge from around the world. This bold statement of intent marked a significant departure from Japan's traditional isolationist policies and paved the way for the country's rapid modernization. As the Meiji government began to take shape, it faced opposition from those who were loyal to the old Tokugawa regime. In January 1868, the Boshin War broke out, pitting the imperial forces against the remnants of the Tokugawa shogunate. The war was fierce and intense, with battles taking place across Japan, from the snow-covered mountains of the north to the sun-scorched plains of the south. One notable example of the brutality of this conflict was the Battle of Toba Fushimi, which took place in January 1868. The battle saw the imperial forces, led by the charismatic Saigo Takamori, clash with the Tokugawa loyalists in a series of bloody skirmishes that ultimately ended in defeat for the shogunate. The Boshin War finally came to an end on June 27, 1869, when the last Tokugawa stronghold, the city of Hakodate, fell to the imperial forces. The war had lasted for over a year, and its outcome marked a decisive victory for the Meiji government. With the Tokugawa regime defeated, and its leaders either executed or exiled, the Meiji emperor was now free to implement his vision for a modernized Japan. The years that followed saw a flurry of activity as the Meiji government implemented a series of sweeping reforms. In 1869, the feudal system was officially abolished, and a new system of land ownership was introduced. The following year, a national education system was established, with schools and universities springing up across the country. The Meiji government also invested heavily in infrastructure, building roads, railways, and telegraph lines that connected Japan's major cities. As Japan continued to modernize at a breakneck pace, it also began to engage more actively with the outside world. In 1871, the Meiji government sent a delegation to the United States and Europe, led by the charismatic Ito Hirobumi, who would later become one of Japan's most influential statesmen. The delegation's mission was to learn from the West and to promote Japan's interests abroad. During their travels, they were struck by the vast differences between Japan and the Western world, and they began to formulate plans for how Japan could catch up with the rest of the world. As the Meiji government's delegation returned from their journey to the United States and Europe, they brought with them a newfound understanding of the Western world and a determination to implement the knowledge they had gained. One of the key figures in this effort was Ito Hirobumi, who would go on to become one of Japan's most influential statesmen. In his own words, the basis of our country's independence and prosperity lies in the adoption of the best features of Western civilization, a sentiment that encapsulated the Meiji government's commitment to modernization. The years that followed saw a continued push for reform and modernization as the Meiji government worked to create a truly modern state. In 1873, the conscription law was introduced, requiring all able-bodied men to serve in the military for a period of 3 years. This move helped to create a modern, centralized army and marked a significant shift away from the traditional samurai class. The following year, the Meiji government also established a new system of local government which helped to consolidate power and bring stability to the country. As the Meiji Restoration drew to a close, the government turned its attention to the task of building a modern economy. In 1878, the Meiji government established the Bank of Japan, which would serve as the central bank and play a key role in stabilizing the currency and promoting economic growth. The government also invested heavily in infrastructure, including roads, railways, and telegraph lines, which helped to facilitate trade and commerce. The Meiji Restoration's conclusion was marked by the promulgation of the Meiji Constitution in 1889, which established Japan as a constitutional monarchy and enshrined the principles of liberty, equality, and justice. This document would serve as the foundation for Japan's modern system of government, and its influence can still be seen today. In the years that followed, Japan continued to modernize and grow, becoming a major world power in the process. The Meiji Restoration's legacy can be seen in the country's rapid industrialization, its emergence as a major military power, and its adoption of Western-style education and culture. As one historian has noted, the Meiji Restoration was a revolution that transformed Japan from a feudal society to a modern nation-state, and its impact is still felt today. Today, the Meiji Restoration is remembered as a pivotal moment in Japanese history, marking the country's transition from a traditional, isolated society to a modern, globalized nation. The Restoration's emphasis on education, modernization, and international engagement helped to lay the foundations for Japan's emergence as a major world power, and its influence can still be seen in the country's politics, economy, and culture. The Meiji Restoration's place in history is secure, and its legacy continues to shape Japan's identity and inform its relationships with the rest of the world. The Meiji Restoration story serves as a testament to the enduring importance of education, modernization, and international engagement, and its impact will continue to be felt for generations to come. That's all for today's History with Herodotus. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, remember that, to understand the present, we must first understand the past.